Quickly think, what is now the number one thing that drives more controversy than ordering pizza from Papa John's?
I would just say, stay tuned. The day of reckoning will come. The record will be straight. Stay tuned.
Today I'm talking about the new Digimon game that came out. That's right, it's Palworld. If you are not interested into that, the video will be divided into different segments. If you are one of the people who is following the channel for a very long time, make sure to check the end of the video, because even if you are not interested personally about Palworld, Palworld is about to change how modding works from Nexus. That means both Skyrim, Fallout and many other games out there will be affected from what is happening right now on the Nexus. Just make sure to check this part out in case you are interested, because I'm talking about a bunch of different things. Don't forget, only 5.4% of you guys who are watching this video are actually subscribed. You can hit the like button or subscribe. It helps me find my audience and it motivates me into making more of those. Thank you for watching this. I'm not used to make videos talking about things like that or controversies, similar to my failed attempts of trying to speak English. For the longest of time, I have been the biggest Pokemon fan.
Oh, don't be like that. I'm your biggest fan. Isn't it time you put out just a little?
I grew up with Pokemon. If I could combine all of the hours I have spent to all of the Pokemon games that I've played, and let's say convert that time into years, there will be more than 5 years of my life spent into playing Pokemon games. That's how much of a big fan I am when it comes to that. But sadly, the Pokemon genre, or the monster hunting type of genre, which is more accurate to call it like that, has been on a worse decline than my hairline. And for the longest of time, I have completely stopped playing any monster hunting game, that being Digimon, Pokemon. I just feel the innovation and the creativity is just not there. But now that has changed because we have Palworld. So let's start from the beginning. Palworld is a monster hunting type of game that came out a few days ago, maybe more than a week as I am making this video. After 1 week of its pre-release, it has sold over 8 million copies.
Making my way downtown, walking fast, faces past and I'm homebound. And I need you, and I miss you.
And in case you don't know, everybody and their mother is playing Palworld right now. It grew so fast and so vast that now the Nintendo drones, commonly known as NPCs on the internet, they're talking or trying to make drama about it. I've learned in a very young age, as Alexander the Great once said, grow too fast and get farmed by elephants. This is what is happening right now on the internet with this game. And just to explain what Palworld is as a game, you had Dragon Age on one side with a super cool monster design and the whole monster hunting aspect. In the middle you had Pokemon, and on the other side you had Digimon World 1, where you will have Digimon fight for you and you were much more focused into the survival aspect of the game. And similar to Yu-Gi-Oh!, you combine those three together like we're asserting the Exodia pieces into creating the perfect monster hunting game that has been missing for the past decade, that is known as Palworld.
Exodia! Obliterate!
The game is more than good. It ignited a spark within me that I haven't felt like that playing a video game, that is, for the longest of times. Let's move to the next segment. And something that gives me brain rots every time I hear or read discussions about this online is regarding how Palworld is protected from Nintendo. In case you don't know, everybody's trying to accuse Palworld of stealing assets, stealing the ideas of Pokemon, pretty much everything like that. I figure out you can catch shiny versions of Digimons in this game. I'm just gonna call them Digimon. I think Digimon don't get much love. I love using that word. I've never expected talking about Digimon in my life ever again. I was collecting back then all of the different Digimon miniatures, like I was as Ketchup trying to catch them all. In the good old times, you know, back when you were young and beautiful. Very recently, I have rewatched the English dub version of Digimon, and I have to say, there is some wild stuff on the series.
I am the ultimate evil, complete
complete with hot and cold running water. Why do all of you get the pizza while I get the crust? Wait a minute, what am I laughing at? I'm supposed to be depressed.
Back to the subject, I realized there is shiny versions of Digimons in this game, but sadly they don't have different colors. The game is on pre-release, only a small portion of the game is out, so I understand they don't have the time to create different color variations. The point here is, I went to one of my friends and I told them, oh my god, I wish shinies had different colors, and my friend told me, I don't know, I think they don't do it because it's gonna look too similar to Pokemon and they might get sued. I hate hearing those cringy L-takes from people who have no idea how companies, how patterning work. So I'm going to explain to you here, very simply, how Palworld is protected from Nintendo. Hold on for a moment then, let me put my anime glasses, wear my fedora hat and equip my Sherlock Holmes pipe. Every time you start a company, a big company, not like your local dildo store that's right next to the bakery on your street. We're not talking about that, and no offense to sex stores or anything like that, that's not my point. Totally a random example, by the way, totally. Every time a big company comes out, especially game companies, they have to create their own patterns, to get their own licenses. That's why usually most of the good games that you know of, even the bad games, it takes a long time, from few months up to a year or two, just to create those licenses and those different patterns. Those patterns protect the company from any type of copyright as long as the company does not step into other companies' patterns. For instance, Nintendo has licensed specific names like Pikachu, Bulbasaur if I remember correctly, and a bunch of other words like Pokemon, as long as the company doesn't come out and uses those patterns. Look at Koromon for example, which is on beta on Steam, or look at Palword, then you are safe. Palword has created its completely own assets. Yes, there is some slight inspiration from the designs, but that's usually what happens on competition. Nobody said anything when Valheim was literally doing the same thing Minecraft was doing, but slightly different. And the example goes on. There are so many games that took inspiration from Minecraft to the point where they are completely identical to each other, but then again, nobody talks about it because it doesn't farm clicks on YouTube or controversies. And many people are very confused. Is Palworld a scam? Should Palworld be sued or anything like that? No, it shouldn't, because everything the company has created, it comes from their own assets. Human sentient beings sat down on their gaming greasy chairs and they created those assets. I do not want to jump too much into this whole shenanigans, but again, I just want to express that Palworld is completely safe when it comes to all the allegations, which by the way, there is zero allegations. It is just a bunch of brain-rot androids that come from Nintendo and they are sending death threats and other horrible and ghouly stuff to the developers of Palworld. Side NPC characters in Morrowind have more value than those people's opinions. At least that's my take on it. This covers the whole Palworld being a scam or being weird. Anything Palworld does, they have their own licenses, it's their own game, they can do whatever they want, unless they don't cross the line of using, let's say, the name Pokemon in their game. Next, this is a big subject that I've wanted to talk about it, and I haven't seen any other channel talk about this as far as I'm making this video. And here is the Nexus allegations, where Nexus came out and said that they are not going to support Palword's modding on the Nexus. In case you don't know, Nexus is the biggest modding website on the internet. There is other ways to get mods outside of Nexus, but usually they don't have support, and you have to do some really shady stuff just to get, let alone have them work. And everybody's molding out, yelling that, oh my god, this is a red flag, Palworld is a scam. No, that is not why Nexus is doing that. The reason why Nexus is not allowing Palworld to have mods on their page is because they're afraid that someone is gonna come on the Nexus and he's going to start porting assets from Pokemon games into Palworld. Just imagine how much stress this is going to cause on the Nexus community, to the downright point where they might even get sued by Nintendo. Nexus is not making this decision just to lock Palworld out, but they're afraid of people coming out and using different assets from Pokemon, Digimon, or any other franchises, but it's mostly Pokemon, just to create problems into their website, because Nintendo is the boogeyman that no living man should dare say the name. And when it comes to Skyrim and Fallout New Vegas, we had this happen when modders imported assets from Dark Souls or other games like that, and Nexus had to take those down. It's something that keeps happening in the Skyrim modding community and it always causes issues on Nexus. So I don't think this is going to create problems when it comes to Skyrim modding or Fallout New Vegas, unless something really weird happens, or any other game that is, of course. But at the same time, I do not understand why Nexus is going this far as to exclude a full game that is having so many people playing right now.
Walking fast, faces past, and I'm homebound. And I need you, and I miss you.
They might have changes when it comes to their modding guidelines, and if something like this happens, at least if something is dramatic enough, I am going to make a video and talk about it. Hello guys, this is Kavou from the future. Scrap this whole thing out because as of today, 30th of January, Nexus is supporting Palword and you can install mods from the Nexus, which means everything is going to be the same as expected. That wasn't the case almost a week ago as I was making this video, so my apologies on that part. If you are modding Skyrim and Fallout New Vegas, you are 100% safe to keep doing that. We are not under any threat, aside from Bethesda and Todd Howard coming occasionally to break our game again.
And one of the great things about having a fully dynamic game engine is all of this just works. It's not, I'm not kidding.
And lastly, before I end this video, I've wanted to talk about why Palword is bigger than you think. Why Palword is not just a game, but is something so much more. And in a monopoly that has been happening for the past 10 years, that looked like the dark ages when it comes out to innovation and creativity, to the monster-catching genre, Palword was this beacon of light that came out of nowhere and completely changed how the Monste Hutning games are going to look in the future. We had no competition for the past decade, we just had Nintendo releasing amalgamations of horrible, shitty, abysmal games every year, which came out on a console that should be locked in a museum as a proof that dinosaurs existed. That is the Nintendo Switch. They're looking worse than games that came out on PlayStation 1, especially the Pokemon games. A similar story of David fighting Goliath. And they're succeeding. Nintendo is taking a huge blow from this. People finally are taking the blue pill and have started to waking up from the drones that Nintendo has turned them into. It's been an extremely sad and painful decade for any Pokemon fans out there, I myself being one of them. I haven't bought or purchased any Pokemon games for the past almost 10 years. It is such a breather to finally have an indie company that comes out, releases a masterpiece of a game that finally does something better than everything we had so far. Hopefully make Nintendo up their game because they have been sleeping. The sleep that Aristoteles described in the inscriptions when he was forced to drink the gamer juice that put him to his long sleep. And I just love stories like small unknown indie companies that come out and they completely change the rules of the game. One day, I wish we get the equivalent of Palword for Fallout New Vegas or even Skyrim. I don't think I trust Bethesda of creating the Elder Scrolls 6, but then again, you guys let me know what you think. Are you playing Palword? Are you not playing Palword? If you managed to make it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to leave a like or subscribe, it helps me find my audience, and as always I will keep making Skyrim and Fallout new videos, and occasionally I might switch a bit to Palword content depending how it does. Thank you for watching guys, it was me Kavou, and until next time, happy modding!